What's up, everyone? Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. Today is April the 22nd. It's a Wednesday today. Hope you guys are doing well. We have some news in the after hours. You can see yesterday coming to close. We had a couple things going on, of course, with the peace deal being extended once again. We had some more kind of news in the after hours, and you can see in the pre-market we are gravitating back up and towards the highs. What's up, everyone? Hope you guys are doing well. We do have a couple things else to talk about today here as well with Tesla earnings. We have a couple more major things, and with the markets being at all-time highs here, we'll go on to the charts here in a second. But yeah, what's up, everyone? Hope you guys are doing well. Good morning, Michael. Good morning, Victor. Let me pull up the economic calendar here as well. What's up, P1? Good morning, Maria, Wisdom. Good morning, Andy, Cody, B Roots. Good morning, Knight, Lamit, Eduardo. What's up, TW, Gerald, Vate, Robert, Ashley, Maria, Chris, Deuce. What's up, everyone? Good morning. Yeah, hope you guys are doing well. Let's pull up the economic calendar here. As you can see, we do have some news in the overnight session. Yesterday, we actually ended up coming back down in towards that gap. So we had this gap here on the daily time frame that we talked about, which we'd like to see, which we like to see hold. Let me actually do this. All right, we should be good. So we had this gap here on the daily time frame, which was back down in towards our, sorry, I don't know why my keyboard is not popping up. Let me do this. Okay, should be good here. So as you can see here for the QQQ, we had this gap on the daily time frame, both on the SPY and the Q. So we had a very minor gap. We mentioned we can kind of fill this gap here on the daily time frame, continue back towards the upside. We could potentially pull back all the way in towards our previous all-time highs and have that continue push towards the upside here as well. But SPY and Qs both filled this daily gap back down in towards, in this case, SPY in towards that 702, and buyers stepped in here. And now you can see we're pushing back up in towards our previous day's range, and the next level here is going to be that previous day high. So we'll talk about that a little bit more here in a second. But as you can see, some news in the overnight session. Iran reports signals signs of potential U.S. moves to lift blockade, according to TSIM. So as you can see here, the overall markets, that's basically the news that we have. And of course, if we go on to the red folder news, not too much that we're looking for today. Wednesday, tomorrow, we do have unemployment. And then on Thursday, we have the flash services. And of course, Friday, we have the revised consumer sentiment as well. The main thing, of course, is the ongoing war news that we have. Yesterday, we had that 2-week peace deal deadline that was extended now another 2 weeks. So as you can see, the overall markets were at all-time highs. Every single, right, we had some bearish news earlier into the day and then immediately kind of bought up, and now we're continuing back up and towards our all-time highs. And then, of course, if we go on to the earnings calendar, what we have here, coming into market open, or sorry, after close, we do have Tesla. That's going to be fairly important. So we'll keep an eye out on that one coming to market open. And then, of course, we have Intel tomorrow as well. And then for the other news events that we have, right, a bunch of Mag 7 reporting next week. So that's something to keep an eye out for. But at least for today, Tesla is going to be the big one. That is going to be after close. Okay, with that being said, let's first talk about the QQQ. And we'll go on to the SPY here in a second. But as you can see here on the weekly time frame, above our all-time highs. If we go into the daily time frame, higher lows are being built as well. And then if we go into the hourly time frame, we had a little bit of consolidation in the past couple of days, but now we also filled this gap here as well. So if you look at this hourly time frame, we're basically just kind of consolidating the past few sessions in between our 650 along with that 642. Now, if we can break above our 650, we can expect this next continuation towards the upside. So let's go back onto lower time frames, at least for the key levels that we have marked out today. It's going to be that 650, as I mentioned. What we have marked out here is going to be our previous day highs. We also have a touch here from Friday as well. And then the other levels that I do have marked out is our 645 and then other levels here, which is that 642. So you can see overall Monday price pushed down, almost filled the gap, gravitated back towards the highs yesterday. Nice little rejection here off that 650, came all the way back down, and you can see filled the gap coming into close. And then we also had some news that pushed price back towards the upside. So now coming into today, keep an eye out on that 650. If we can break above our 650, hold above that 650, continuation up and towards our 652 here and above. So above your previous day highs for continuation towards the upside. Another possible scenario here now is going to be that bounce play off that 648. Hold above that level for this continuation higher here as well. So really it's going to be above our 650 coming into market open. We could see another kind of rejection and come all the way back down and towards that 645. Of course, that is still in play here as well on the QQQ, but regardless, right, the weekly time frame is bullish, the daily time frame is building higher lows, the hourly time frame now similar thing, right, building higher lows here as well. If we can break above that 650, that's going to be the next level for upside here in the overall markets. If we go on to the NQ, very similar thing here, right at our all-time highs here on the futures charts, but key levels that we have marked out is going to be that previous day highs. You can see a couple little reactions here yesterday right off that level. Now if we do want to see some upside above our previous day highs, hold for that continued push towards the upside. So this is what we have for the NQ coming into today. Let's mark out that 26,870. If we can see that break, hold, continuation for that continuation higher. Another possible scenario, we come all the way back down in towards that previous day close. We can be looking for that retest off that level for a push back towards the highs here as well. So this is what we have on the NQ along with the QQQ coming to market open. Higher time frame still holding up. Intraday now flipping back bullish as well, right? Coming into this week, really our game plan was the same as last week. We're just going to be looking for major dips in the markets to go long. Now what we have here is SPY. Let's go on to this one here on the daily chart. Similar thing here. If you look on the weekly time frame, we're above our all-time high, so we're bullish. If you go into the daily time frame, building up higher lows here as well, bullish. You can see technically this is our first pullback on the daily chart. We also filled this gap here as well, and this first dip is immediately getting bought up here on the SPY, right? It would have been nice if you could have came down in towards that previous all-time highs retest level for continuation higher, but so far we're just kind of basing first pullback here, and we are getting bought up on the SPY chart. Let's go back onto the hourly time frame. Key levels that we have marked out, as you can see right here, is that 702, right? As I mentioned, we had some news yesterday right down in towards that gap fill, immediately being bought up here now, and we're gravitating back up in towards our previous day's range along with our previous day highs here. So the key levels that I do have on SPY is going to be our level that we broke down from, which is at 710. Another level that we do have marked out is our 706. So coming to market open on SPY above our 710, for continuation up and towards our 712 is in play. Another possible scenario is going to be the bounce play off our 706 for continuation up in towards our 710 and above here as well. Regardless, on the overall markets, the higher time frame is bullish, right? The weekly, the daily, the hourly, the 15-minute, along with the Qs, is consolidating a bit more to start off this week, but the higher time frame is still very much intact, so we can expect continuation now above our previous day highs. Shorts, in my opinion, not really interested in. Yesterday, we kind of had this nice pop and fade off our key level of resistance, right? That could be a similar scenario you could be looking for again today, but the higher time frame, as I mentioned, is very much still bullish, so I'd be very cautious. Similar thing here with the Qs. This one is leading the markets higher, right? The pop and fade is in play, but I'd be very cautious. Higher time frame is very much intact. If it holds above our previous day highs, then we could see continuation towards the upside. All right, let's go on to the NQ. NQ similar, or sorry, let's go on to the ES here. So the ES, the key levels that I do have marked out is our 7080, right? This was that full gap fill that I talked about in the SPY and Qs. We ended up bouncing here on the futures chart. This was your Sunday's low that we ended up opening up at as well. You can see yesterday, nice little rejection here off our last week's highs, came all the way back down in towards our key level of support. And as you can see, buyers stepping in off this level, nice mean reversion back towards the upside. So for the ES, you can see buyers stepping in. Now we like to see this push up in towards that 71.80. So this is what we have for the ES coming into market open. 71.80 is what we have marked out. Other levels that we can have marked out is our 71.20. And if you'd like to mark out other levels, we can mark out that high that we created here and also the area that we broke down from yesterday, 71.60. So if you do want to see upside coming into market open above our 71.60, hold above that level for continuation higher. Another possible scenario here as well is above our 71.20 for this continuation up in towards that 71.80 here on the ES. So this is what we have for the major indices coming to market open here. Qs, we're going to be looking for longs above our previous day highs. SPY, this one's lagging behind just a little bit, but that's good here with the Qs leading the market higher. SPY key level is going to be that 710. So we're going to be looking for longs above our 710 or the hold of the 707. Now, with that being said, I am going to go on to the SMH along with the rest of the major indices. If you guys do have any charts or any tickers, you guys can now drop them in the chat. If you guys are enjoying this so far, I appreciate if you guys drop a like. If you guys haven't joined the free daily watch list, that of course is in the description below here as well. Okay, let's go into the SMH here. So starting off on the weekly time frame, as you can see here, currently the weekly time frame well above our previous all-time highs. So it's bullish. SMH daily time frame, every single dip being bought up so far, bullish here as well. If you go on to the hourly time frame, higher lows are being built. Every single dip so far is being bought up on the hourly time frame, and even on the 15-minute time frame here now, breaking above our previous day high. So the key levels that we have marked out on the SMH is our 465. This was our Monday's highs, multiple touches here. You can see yesterday break, try retesting it right off the bat. Nice continuation towards the upside, and then the rest of the day, just consolidation. This one consolidated compared to the Qs and SPY, which dropped a little bit more. And now you can see for the SMH, we are above our 466. We're also above our previous day highs here as well. So what we like to see moving forward, above our previous day highs, hold for continuation towards the upside. So this is what we have for the SMH coming into market open here. Now we like to see maintain above our 468 hold for continuation higher, above our pre-market highs here as well for this pushback towards the upside. So that's what we have for the SMH coming into market open here. Of course, this one's still very much bullish. We have a couple names moving higher here. AMD, one of the big green names yesterday. NVIDIA we'll take a look at here in a second. And then a couple of these semis are now slowly pushing back towards the upside here as well. But let's go on to IWM very briefly. Key level for the IWM is going to be that 277. The reclaim back above, we can see this nice continuation back towards upside. But IWM, as you can see here as well, we do have this gap that so far is being defended. We also have this previous all-time highs. Regardless, IWM fairly bullish like the rest of the major indices for a continuation higher. All right, let's first talk about Tesla. Let's go into the weekly time frame here. The key levels that we have, as I mentioned earlier, is this previous consolidation. You can see traded back up into the area that we broke down from. Now for Tesla, we do have earnings today. So as I mentioned on Monday, not really too much to talk about pre-earnings here on Tesla. So we'll just wait for the after hours and we'll see what happens and what shapes up tomorrow on the Tesla earnings. But the key levels that we have marked out is our 385, the area that we have that broke down from, which is our previous day highs, 395. So coming into market open here, if we do want to see some upside above our 395 or the bounce play here off that 385 is in play. If we're looking for any sort of shorts, we can be looking for the pop and fade here off that 395 for a push lower, or now we could be looking for shorts underneath our previous day lows, 386. Regardless, on Tesla, as I mentioned, this one does have earnings today, so be very cautious. Definitely don't look to trade this one today with the IV being elevated. We'll wait for an after earnings play here on Tesla. All right, let's talk about NVIDIA. This is one of my favorite charts for continuation towards the upside. We are basing above this previous consolidation level, which now you can see we broke out from. As long as you can maintain above 196, continuation up and towards our all-time highs here is in play. If you look at this on the hourly time frame, higher lows are being built as well. What we can have marked out is this previous previous key pivot point, which is our 200 key psych. Now we like to see it really maintain above 200, hold above that level for this push up and towards that 203 and above. As for the key levels that we have marked out today, levels that we have marked out is going to be that 202, which happens to be our key level that we created here on Friday along with Monday. And then we also have our 200 key psych level here as well, which as you can see, there are multiple touches. So for NVIDIA coming into market open, we're going to have these levels drawn out. If we do want to see some upside here on NVIDIA above our 202, hold above that level for continuation up and towards that 203. Another possible scenario is going to be that bounce off our previous day lows, 190, 199.50 for this continuation back up and towards the highs. If we reject off this level, we can see a push down in towards that 200 key psych. So for NVIDIA, really a little bit more consolidation here the past couple sessions. As you can see, if we're looking at this week's price action, we're looking at last week's price action, a little bit more consolidation after that initial push up. As long as you can maintain above our 200 key psych, I like to see continuation or now longs above our 202 here on NVIDIA. Now let's go on to AMD. So AMD, we did have a nice push towards the upside yesterday, back up and towards our all-time highs. Key levels that we can have marked out here now as well is going to be our previous day highs along with that Monday's highs. If you look at this on the weekly time frame, as you can see here, breaking above our all-time highs, bullish. If we look on the daily time frame, above our previous all-time highs here as well. First dip being bought up on AMD, bullish as well on the on the daily. On the hourly time frame, we had this mini flat top that we talked about. The reclaim was in play for a push towards the upside, and now we're back at our all-time highs. Go back onto the 15-minute time frame coming into today here on AMD. Levels that we do have marked out is our 288. What I personally would like to see is the hold above our 288 for this continuation up in towards that 290 and above. Another potential scenario on AMD above our pre-market highs. Hold above that level for a push towards upside here as well. Next major level on AMD is really going to be that 300 key psych level. So that is something to keep an eye out for. AMD, one of my main watches coming into market open here, with of course the semiconductors leading the markets back towards upside here as well. So we'll keep an eye out on AMD coming to market open. As for a few other tickers that we have here, Apple, a little bit of reaction, higher time frame. If we look at this weekly time frame, overall weekly time frame, I'd say a little bit more consolidation. Daily time frame, trying to flip back bullish here, breaking back above key levels. We just like to see Apple maintain above higher lows. Now, if you look at this on the hourly time frame, we are currently breaking back underneath key levels. One of the levels that I do have marked out here is at 267 that I like to see hold. So for Apple coming into market open here, key levels that I do have marked out is at 267. The level that I rejected off from yesterday was at 272. Other levels that we could have marked out here is that 270. So for Apple, really not too much to talk about. We're kind of right back down in towards that Friday's lows. If we do want to see some upside, maintain above that 267 for continuation higher. This is really the only play that I have on Apple. If it had big buyers stepping in, above 270 reclaim is in play here as well. But for Apple, be a little bit more cautious on this one. Showed a little bit more weakness compared to the rest of the names here. Apple key level is going to be that 270. If we do want to see some downside here underneath that 267 for a potential push down in towards that previous day lows. Let's go over Google. This one did have some earnings. It did have some news in the pre-market, pushing back towards the upside here. So if we're looking at this one on the weekly time frame, as you can see here for Google, fairly bullish on the weekly time frame. If we look on the daily time frame, similar thing, right? Bullish here as well, reclaim back above key levels. Now, if we go on to the hourly time frame, the key levels that we have marked out is, of course, that 330, which so far you can see nice buyers are stepping in, and we're trying to reclaim back above this 335, right? Maintain above 335, continuation back up in towards that 340 here is in play. So for Google coming to market open, I do like Google a lot. This is our Monday's lows, multiple touches yesterday, reclaiming back above. Let's see if we can use this 335, hold above that 335 for a push up and towards that previous day highs. Another possible scenario here is above our previous day highs, hold above that level for a push up and towards that 340 and above. So that's what we have for Google coming into market open. As I mentioned, I do like this one quite a bit. If we're looking at this one on the hourly time frame, nice consolidation, push towards the upside. Another one, consolidation. Now let's see if we can get that push back up and towards our 340 here and above on Google. Microsoft, higher lows being built here, continuation towards the highs. Next key level that we do have marked out on Microsoft is going to be that last week's high. So if you are interested in trading this up in towards that 430, hold above that 430 for that continuation up in towards our last week's highs for continuation here as well. So keep an eye on Microsoft above our 426. That's what we have on Microsoft. As for Meta, key levels that we have marked out is going to be that 676. That's going to be the key level that we have marked out. Above our 676, continuation up in towards our 680 and potentially our 690. If you look at Meta, a very key level, as you can see currently, right? This is basically that 680, kind of broke above that 680. Break above, fail. Now, if you do want to see some upside, reclaim back above is needed. If it does reject off that 680, you can see a little bit of a bigger pullback on Meta. So that's what we have coming into market open here. 678 is going to be the key level on the higher time frames. And then, of course, on Amazon, this one looks really good as well. So Amazon, one of my favorite ones. Let's keep an eye on this one for an all-time highs move coming into market open. So for Amazon, key levels that we do have marked out is going to be that previous day highs. We had some news, nice pop in the after hours, and then we end up rejecting right off that 655 previous day highs key level for a pushback down in towards our full gap fill here on Amazon. So coming into market open, right, Amazon, let's keep an eye on this one based off the hourly time frame, based off the daily chart. We are very close to all-time highs. I do like this one quite a bit. So let's keep an eye on the hold above our 250, which we're currently holding above. And now let's look for a potential pushback up in towards our previous day highs and above. So for Amazon here, what we can have marked out is our pre-market highs. Hold above that level for continuation. Another possible scenario is going to be the hold above our 250 for that continued pushback towards the upside here as well. So that's what we have on Amazon for continuation. So let's keep an eye out on this one coming to market open. I do like this one a lot for an all-time highs play. And then as for Netflix, this one just keeps on dropping after earnings that we do have. If you look at this one on the daily time frame, our key level of support here on Netflix is back down in towards our 90, right? This is our gap up that we created here back in March. This is our key level of support moving forward. So we would like to see some buyers step in off our 90 key psych level here on Netflix. Other levels that we do have as well is going to be now our low that we created here on Monday. We can drag this over. You can see yesterday broke underneath it, nice continuation lower. Now for Netflix, let's keep an eye out on our 93.50. If we do want to see continued downside underneath this level for continuation lower, back down in towards that 92. A reclaim back above, we can see this mean reversion back up in towards our 94.50, along with that 95.50 for a potential flip here. So that's what we have on Netflix coming into market open. If you guys do have any charts or any tickers you'd like me to go over here now, I'll go over them for the next kind of 5 to 10 minutes here. If you guys are enjoying this so far, I appreciate if you guys drop a like. If you guys haven't joined the free daily watch list, that of course is in the description below here as well. How come you're not affiliate for prop firms? There could be a good business in that. Yeah, there's a bunch of affiliates prop firms, there's futures prop firms, forex, options. I personally don't trade futures as often, so I'm not gonna, unless I use it personally, I'm not gonna uh, at least shill a prop firm, right? If I use it and I do like it, I know a lot of people do use prop firms, right? There's a bunch of codes that you can use out there. Maybe in the future, if I get into more features or get good codes for you guys, right, I could definitely do that. In your WAP premium, do you offer alerts room? That is correct, plus live trading. What does after earnings mean? After earnings means just after earnings. So we have earnings tonight on Tesla. So after earnings, that's basically what it means. So after earnings play on Tesla means we'll be looking for Tesla tomorrow. So for something like Netflix, we had earnings a couple weeks ago. Sorry, this was last week on Thursday. So after earnings now, this is going to be an after earnings play, right, towards the downside on something like Netflix. So that's what we have on this one. Let's go on to a few other tickers here now. Starting off on Palantir, yesterday we ended up having a nice push above our previous day highs. Didn't have too much continuation, but previous day highs hold, and then we end up having that nice retest above our 147.80. Now for Palantir, you can see we're pulling back just a little bit. Let's actually just get rid of all these key levels. Main level here for Palantir was our previous 150 level. So you can see on the higher time frames, we have multiple touches off this general area. Key levels that we have marked out is going to be that 150. If you can get above that 150, we can see continuation towards the upside. So that's going to be our key level on the higher time frames, right? That 150 that we do have marked out. If we go on to AVGO, the key levels that we have marked out is the next level, sorry, is going to be that all-time high. So let's keep an eye on AVGO coming to market open. You can see nice bounce play here off that 396. Next level that we have on AVGO, hold above that 406, continuation towards our all-time highs. AVGO looks good. Oracle reclaiming back above now our 184. This one is looking to flip back above. You can see key level of resistance. Now we're breaking back above. Let's see if we can get this flip back up and towards our 200 here on Oracle. So coming to market open, let's keep an eye out on our 200 key psych or above our 184 for a pushback towards the upside. As for a few other tickers, MU, a lot of consolidation here. Let's look at this one on the daily time frame. I do like this one quite a bit, but as I mentioned, consolidating a little bit more. It might take a little bit longer to form, but we have this kind of cup and handle forming. We also have this kind of daily flag pattern forming above our all-time highs. Once we do get that break, now it's going to be above our 470. This is going to be the next level for continuation here on MU. So we can look at this one. Key level that we do have marked out, as I mentioned, is going to be that 470 on the higher time frames. Other levels that we do have coming into today, 440 along with that 450. So as long as you can maintain above that 450, continuation up in towards that 470 here is in play and above. So that's what we have on MU. SNDK still kind of consolidating, similar thing right in between this range. SNDK needs to be above a 940 if you want to see any push higher. See, we've had a couple of rejections off this level the past few days. So above our 940, continuation towards the upside. Intel, we do have earnings on Thursday. Key level, at least for Intel coming to market open, is going to be that 65 for continuation. So keep an eye out on 65 for a push up in towards that 70 key psych. WDC, nice hold above our 386, continuation up and towards our all-time highs here as well. So just mark out our previous day highs and look for that previous day highs hold for that continuation back up and towards our key levels. As for everything else, right, Hood's still holding up. We have a couple other names holding up here as well. But if you go into the hourly time frame, right, that's going to be key today on a lot of these tickers because they are shaping up fairly nicely, right? If we're looking at AVGO, nice break retest, right? Similar thing, break and retest for towards our all-time highs, right? MU, a little bit more consolidation, but this one still looks good, right? SNDK, similar thing, break back above our 940, hold for this pushback towards the upside, right? A bunch of these other names here, you can see higher lows are being built. So for something like Hood, right, maintain above our 88 for a push back up and towards our previous day highs and above, right? SoFi even holding up nicely above our previous day lows for continuation towards the upside. So there's a lot of names to keep an eye out for coming to market open. Marvel still holding up very nicely. Previous day highs is going to be key here. So coming into today, right, with the SPY and Qs bouncing, right, we're back at our previous day highs here. You can see a little bit of reaction on both the SPY and the Qs. So coming into market open, really, it's going to be the previous day close, hold, or now above our previous day highs for continuation. Main watches coming into today, we will keep an eye out on Nvidia above our 202, AMD, one of my main ones above our previous day highs, hold for continuation. So I like Nvidia, AMD, right? AMD preferably just because it is above our previous day highs. Other names that do look good here as well. Google above our 335 for pushback up in towards that 339 is in play. And of course, Microsoft above previous day highs. And then I do like Amazon here as well for an all-time highs push. As for the rest of the tickers, right, you can keep an eye out on Meta back above that 676 for a flip back towards the upside. And then as you can see, the rest of the names here, right, just keep an eye out above our previous day highs. Right, the semis are continuing to lead the markets back towards the upside, so we'll keep an eye on AMD for continuation. Yeah, besides that, it's most likely going to be it for me today. We do have Tesla earnings in the after hours, so that's going to be fairly important. We had some Netflix earnings last week, but Tesla's going to be the main one, of course, this week here as well. I noticed when we have news, let's see, I noticed when we have a no news market drops. Whenever we have news, you can see we've had some news recently, but they've been instantly bought back up. So you can see that's a key sign that we're going to continue higher, right? I kind of talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but whenever we had that 2-week peace deal, right, any news after the fact was instantly bought up and we just had continuation. Even yesterday, we had some news, dropped it towards the downside, but instantly bought right back up. Of course, we did have some news coming into the after hours, but filled the gap right here, instantly bought back up, and now we're right back up and towards our previous day highs. Yeah, that key cut out here. Yeah, it seemed like my stream cut out here in a second. I see someone asking for my key levels video here as well. So let me try and link this for you. Copy link. I'm not sure why it's not. Wait, hold up one second. Yeah, I can't. I'll link the video here if you guys are interested in that key levels video. It's in the chat. But for car, parabolic short is in play. There's not really too many gap ups. You can see that yesterday's gap up filled today as well, right? You can see a bigger move on car. Very nice push towards the upside. We need some sort of yeah, some sort of major squeeze and then right some sort of reversal every single day so far. There's no gaps that we can look to fill towards the downside. As you can see, if you're looking at this from a bar by bar perspective, right, every single day so far has been bullish, right? We have not had a single down close candle here on the daily time frame. We have room 800, potentially even 900 coming into today. But yeah, that is going to be it for me today. I am going to get ready for market open here now. And yeah, hope you guys have a great rest of the day. We'll talk about Tesla earnings tomorrow, and I'll see you guys all then. All right, take care, everyone. Peace.